1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6. When people are in a heavenly state of love and good feeling, they feel no impatience. They are in an angelic state, suspended from time. From Swedenborg. To God, what is going to happen and what exists now are the same thing. In fact, for him, the whole of eternity is here and now. Again from Swedenborg. What has time got to do with spiritual life and choosing joy? What is the relationship between the way we handle time and our spiritual life? The issue is learning to live in the present. If we do not live in the present, what is the alternative? You either live in the present, or in the past, or in the future. When do you live in the past? Well, you do it in the present. When do you live in the future? You do it in the present. Not living in the present is really describing a way of using our mental energies. There are two pitfalls for each direction that we look. When we look back, the pitfalls are, it was great, or it was terrible. It was great can bring up dissatisfaction with the present. It was terrible can reawaken painful memories. When we live in the future, the one pitfall is, it's going to be great. And the other is, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be great can lead to dissatisfaction with the present. And it's going to be terrible brings up worry, anxiety. There's nothing wrong with enjoying memories of the past or looking forward to something in the future. The problem lies in the emotions that are from the basement or that are self-diminishing or hurtful to others. Emotions of regret and fear that can come in. It's easy to go through your life waiting for something to happen. What does that do to the quality of your life now? You spend your life waiting. What value is it to remember some past event and then feel badly about it? What does that do for your spiritual life? If it makes you feel worse about life, it probably comes out of the basement. It does not improve the quality of your life. It's like a person working on a conveyor belt. Their job is to sort oranges, and the oranges are coming past on a conveyor belt. Some are good and some are bad. When they see a bad orange, they take it off the conveyor belt and pitch it in the wastebasket. There's only a very short section of the belt where they can actually touch the oranges. If they look to the left, they see the oranges that have already gone past, and you can say, oops, I missed a rotten orange. That's so terrible. Of course, by the time they've done that, many more oranges have passed by in that short little space right in front of them. If they look to the right, they see the oranges coming toward them, and they might say, oops, there's a rotten orange coming toward me. That's terrible. Again, if they're looking to what is coming, they cannot deal with the oranges right in front of them. The only value of looking at oranges that are about to come is to prepare to grab the rotten ones when they are in the present, right in front of him, within their grasp. If they're going to do their job, the only way they can operate is in the present. So the only time we can work on the quality of our life is in the present. Think of the psychic energy we spend dreading or looking forward to something in the future. Think of the energy we put into regretting the past or saying it used to be good, but it isn't anymore. This attempt to live some time other than the present comes from the beasts in the basement. Once they get us away from the place where we are living, we end up in some kind of negative, self-defeating, awful emotional state. Sometimes we look at children and we marvel at their ability to live in the present. We envy them. But we have a choice about that too. We can actually stop and change our attitudes. When we see ourselves slipping into regret about the past or worry about the future, we can bring our focus back to the present, just like we do when we bring our focus onto our breath or our body. Dwelling on the past or the future is of no value. It simply tortures you. Or there's this case when you go out to eat, right? And you have this thought in your mind, we're going to go out to eat. We've got to be there at a certain time. But of course, restaurants, you don't have to do that. But you can get impatient, can't you? We're going to be late. You get in the car and you can't wait to get to the restaurant. When you arrive, you can't wait until you get inside the door. You get inside the door, the hostess says, just wait here, I'll put your name down. Now you can't wait until the table's ready. When the table's ready, you sit down, you can't wait for the server to come and take your order. Then you can't wait until the food comes. And when the food comes, you start eating the peas, but you can't wait until you get on to the French fries, right? When I'm eating my main course, I'm thinking about dessert, right? And when you get the check, you're so looking forward to getting back home, right? Probably you've done that. You might have spent an entire evening being just a little bit out of the present moment. This is an example of going through the whole experience of eating out, but missing it by just a few minutes so that you're not really present to the peas or the iced tea. It's hard to be in the moment instead of constant anticipation in that case. So what are some of the emotions attached to living in the past or living in the future? Well, there's guilt, anxiety, regret, shame, sadness, fear, anger, and so on. I think if we stayed with it, we would find that every negative or downward pulling emotion is related to living in the past or the future. So, of course, we can only live in the present. By trying to live in the future or trying to live in the past, we are still living in the present, but we are spoiling its quality with anticipation or regret. Or there's the story of the counselor being called to the bedside of a cancer patient because the nurses see that the cancer patient couldn't handle the constant pain. So the counselor sits down with the patient and says, "What is it like, this pain?" And the patient says, "Oh, it's awful. I have these terrible pains. I'm never free of pain. I think I'm going out of my mind. I can't do anything. I can't think of anything. I'm always in pain." So the counselor says, Are you in pain right now? And the patient looks puzzled. She stops and reflects and says, "Not right at the moment, but I was a few minutes ago." "What are you experiencing right now?" "Well, nothing, but I'm going to feel some pain pretty soon." Well, as the counselor continues to work with the patient, they eventually make a map of the patient's pain. There's a burst of pain, and then it begins to subside, and then there's some time without pain. In this case, it might turn out that there's 2 minutes of pain and then 20 minutes without pain. So it's 2 out of 20 minutes. It's 90% of the time the person was pain-free. When the patient believed herself to be in constant pain, she was disabled. But with the help of the counselor and by living in the present, she was able to get up out of bed and resume a normal life, pausing to deal with the pain as it came up. See that? The pain was being magnified and causing disability simply by remembering it and then anticipating it, instead of being in the present moment when there might not be any pain. Jesus said, "Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." That's what that's talking about. The pain is bad enough when it hits you, but don't keep dwelling on it afterward or anticipating it ahead of time. So looking to the future with anxiety or to the past with regret will take away all the happiness of life. So if you want to enjoy life, learn to live in the present. And wouldn't it be nice if we did not have to live with the limitations of space and time in this regard? Sometimes it seems as if those are two big enemies of ourselves. We might say, there are not enough hours in the day, or I just haven't got the time, or even I have too much time, it's driving me crazy. And then there are the complaints about space. My children live too far away. I'm not able to be with you physically, but I'm there in spirit. What would life be like without these limitations? The answer is simple. It would be heaven, right? The philosophy that this whole approach of choose joy now comes from posits that there is a heaven, and that when people pass from this world to the next, They leave behind all the concerns about external things. There's no clocks or calendars in heaven. This does not mean that eternal life is always the same and monotonous. It is constantly changing. It has a flow and a direction to it, the way time does in this world, but it's not measured. The angels simply go through the various phases of their life corresponding to morning, afternoon, and evening, without having to be told by the clock what to do and when. And when they're tired and they want to rest, they do. Imagine what your life would be like if you just finished whatever you were doing and then went on to do the next thing. Not because the clock told you, but because you were ready and you wanted to. Well, this is what heaven is like. Some people enjoy retirement because it has a similar quality. And it's interesting how vacation time or time off can begin to imitate the time of heaven, which is just a natural flow from one state of mind to another, from one activity to another. But notice it's always in the present moment then. So as we grow spiritually, we learn how to honor the fact that our spirit, even as we live in this world, operates beyond the time-space framework. It is interesting to note that many human inventions are designed to make the world more like the spiritual world by overcoming, to some extent, the limitations of space and time. One reason it's simple is because we can't not do it. The present is the only place we can possibly live. Of course, it depends on the meaning of live, right, which can be interpreted as where you focus your attention, which could be on the past, the future, or the present. A more detailed version of the approaching task is when you notice your attention going toward the future or going toward the past, bring it back to the present moment. A word that seems to pop up frequently, especially when focusing your attention on the future, is worry. And as we read, Jesus recognizes this. He said, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life or what you will eat or drink or about your body or what will you wear. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothes?" Right? Why do you worry about the clothes, right? Anyways. And then Swedenborg wrote about that saying of Jesus in a really long quotation. Just one piece of it is, those who are in the stream of providence are all the time carried along toward everything that is happy, whatever may be the appearance of the means in the moment. And that those are in the stream of providence who put their trust in the divine and attribute all things to him. Be it known that insofar as anyone is in this stream of providence, so far they are in a state of peace. And there's the old hymn, peace, perfect peace. I cry for peace in this neighborhood. O love, perfect love, I beg for your love in this neighborhood. No water can cool this fire. Only the Lord can save us. I cry for peace in this neighborhood. I take a look inside, and this is what I see. We need more love. We need more love in this community. I take a look inside, and this is what I see. We need more love. We need more love in this community. So whenever you feel regret or anxiety, observe any connection it has with the past or the future. Let go and bring yourself into an awareness of something positive in the here and now.